Hi, JC.
Hey John, how are you?
Good, good. Tell me about one of your memories of the early days of RoviSys.
Well, one of the ones that really sticks out for me, it's hard to forget, is when RoviSys first started in early years in 1989, our first big systems project was for SCM Chemicals. Now, I had come from Bailey Controls where I'd been doing firmware development. I'd never done a systems job at all. And we didn't have any systems engineers. It was four of us sitting around the place waiting for work to come in. That's what came in. So the very first thing that had to happen was I had to go to Philadelphia for 2 weeks with Rosemont, with the engineering firm, Raytheon Engineering, with the customer, and sit in a big conference room at a big table and figure out how to get I/O points off of a PNID drawing. I really didn't know what a PNID drawing was, and I didn't know what I/O points were at that point. So Tom Dormo, who was not working at RoviSys at that time, gave me a crash course on what a PNID was and what I/O points were. So I go into this conference room, and I'm sitting like this close to everybody around me, and we're looking at these drawings, and I'm trying to figure out, of course, the symbols are not the same as what Tom had told me. I'm trying to figure out what's what on the thing. And I remember at one point, the Rosemont engineer was sitting beside me, he's looking at a point on the drawing, and says, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Whoa, we wouldn't do that. Would you guys do that?" He asked me. He said, "No, we wouldn't do that." "What would you do?" "Well, there's a lot of things you could do here. What do you guys do at Rosemont?" And he said something, and that was our answer. So it was a tough 2 weeks, but by the end of 2 weeks, I knew how to read PNID drawings and pick out I/O points.
A lot of roles at RoviSys. What is your biggest contribution to the company?
Well, I think probably the primary role I've served at RoviSys is trying new things. So whether it was in the early days when everything was new and we just had to figure out how to do projects, from some of the early things like how do you start a project, how do you do a systems job when you don't have systems engineers, how do you do software development as a project, from that to developing new lines of business for us, like the SEMS business in the late 90s. We did several $1 million over a 5-year period of doing SEMS jobs. I've tried software products, I've tried different new divisions, and I think probably the biggest contribution is the one I'm doing right now with the Business and Industrial IT Group, which is really an extension to all of our vertical markets to be able to provide additional services to our customers.
Have you had things you have tried go the wrong way?
Yes, I definitely have. I've had a lot of things go the wrong way. One sticks out to me is probably one of the biggest ones. So I was running a group called Development Services. Joe Cunningham was running a group called Information Services, and there was a lot of overlap between what we were doing. Joe and I were talking one day about the two groups and how do we have the overlap. And at one point I asked him, I said, "Joe, what do you want? What do you want to do?" He said, "I want it all." I said, "Okay, fine, take it. It's all yours." So I gave him the Development Services group because it was time for me to try something new. So I started a group called Advanced Process Services. And the theory was that we ought to be able to add to the systems engineering work we were doing advanced process control on top of that. I thought you just could go out and do that and it would work. Well, my first encounter with a customer, I went out to a site in Chicago. The guy wanted to do advanced controls on a simple process, and I didn't know what he was talking about, and I looked like a deer in the headlights, and he knew that. He knew I didn't know what I was talking about. So I saw it was going to be a little harder than I thought, and what I learned is that just because you can integrate a control package doesn't mean you know what's going on in the process and how to implement that. So it really didn't work out. We need that kind of expertise in each of our verticals if we're going to do it, not as a separate business line. So that was something I tried that didn't work very well.
Okay, JC, what do you see for the future of RoviSys?
Well, John, I'm actually very excited for the future of RoviSys. I think we are at probably the most exciting time that we've been since the start of the company. We're seeing some amazing things going on in the world around us with the IT-OT convergence and the world that we're in colliding with worlds around the ERP suppliers, companies like Deloitte and Accenture coming down. And then we're seeing the big IT companies coming in from the side. So the whole world is changing out from under us of what we've done so well in the past. So while we have to keep doing those things we've always done, we really have to find ways to increase the value that we add to our customers. And I think the opportunities are bigger than they've ever been before to be able to move into those spaces. We have a huge opportunity because we know the world, the OT space, this industrial space, that those guys don't know. And that's a huge barrier for them to get into it. It won't last long. The opportunity is there for us to seize it right now. That's what we should be doing.
What advice do you have for young people joining RoviSys?
Well, I think there's a few things that come to mind. First of all is when you come to an organization like RoviSys, we're big. From your perspective, we're big. There's a lot of stuff you don't understand that's going on. Embrace it. It's all opportunities for development and growth. So the first thing is to just look around and embrace what you're seeing. Accept the challenges. Don't turn away from challenges. It's really easy once you've been around for a while to get acclimated and get set in your job. Don't allow yourself to do that. Don't be afraid of titles. Somebody has a title of a group manager, a director, a president, a CEO. We're all people. So we're all approachable. You can talk to all of us, ask anybody how they got to where they are, how they've done what they've done, what they see as opportunities for you. Read a lot. Read all different types of subjects, things that don't even interest you. Read books on them. Read as much as you can and broaden your horizons. And I guess the last thing is realize we're a community. We're a team. So count on your team members, count on your coworkers, and make sure you're somebody that can be relied on by them to pull things together. And it's a great environment to thrive in and make it yours.
Well, thank you, JC.
Thank you, John. I appreciate the time.